All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we are diving headfirst into the future
At first.
with Gartner's top 10 strategic technology trends for 2025.
Oh,
We're not just going to list them off, though.
no.
We're going to unpack what they actually mean,
Right.
why they matter,
Right.
and how they could reshape everything
Absolutely.
from our jobs to honestly even our brains.
Yeah, this year's trends are really fascinating. They show how technology is evolving from just being tools to actually becoming more intertwined with our lives.
Exactly. And speaking of intertwine,
Yeah.
Gartner has kind of grouped these trends into three main themes.
Okay.
AI, new computing frontiers, and
Okay.
that wild world of human-machine synergy.
I love it.
So where do we even begin with all of this?
Well, let's start with AI.
Okay.
Specifically, the concept of agentic AI.
Agentic AI, okay.
It's AI that can make decisions and take actions on its own,
Oh, wow.
almost like an independent agent working for you.
So instead of me just telling my AI assistant
Right.
to add something to my calendar,
Yeah,
it could analyze my goals and actually plan my entire week,
exactly.
taking into account deadlines, meetings,
Yeah.
even my preferred focus time.
Uh-huh.
That's kind of amazing.
It is pretty amazing.
And a little freaky.
Yeah, well, and that freaky part is exactly why AI governance platforms are also trending.
Oh, interesting.
Think of them like a rule book
Uh-huh.
for how we develop and use AI responsibly.
Okay.
So these platforms are going to be key to making sure that AI aligns with, our human values,
Right.
and that it doesn't go rogue and start doing its own thing.
That makes sense, yeah.
Especially when Gartner predicts that 15% of our work decisions could be made by agentic AI by 2028.
Wow, 15%.
Yeah,
That's a lot of trust we're going to be placing in AI.
it is.
But then how can we even trust what's real anymore?
Right.
In this digital age, we have deep fakes, we have misinformation.
Absolutely.
It's kind of a minefield out there.
It is. And that's precisely why disinformation security is another critical trend.
Okay.
This tech is all about using AI to combat AI-generated disinformation.
So fight fire with fire.
Exactly. Whether it's detecting deepfakes or it's analyzing user behavior to spot manipulation attempts.
Interesting.
Gartner says that by 2028, over half of all businesses will be using these tools.
Really? Wow.
Yeah,
It's like a digital arms race.
it is.
As AI gets better at creating fakes,
Mm,
we need AI that's better at catching them.
exactly.
Okay, before my brain totally melts from all of this AI talk,
Yeah.
let's shift gears a little bit to
Okay.
new frontiers of computing.
Love it.
What's kind of on the horizon over there?
Well, one of the most impactful is
Right.
post-quantum cryptography, PQC.
Post-quantum cryptography, PQC.
Yeah, sounds complex, but the idea is pretty simple.
Okay.
It's about protecting our data against future quantum computers
Okay.
that could crack our current encryption methods.
So you're saying someone could steal my data today, but only be able to decrypt it years from now when quantum computers are powerful enough?
Exactly. That's the harvest now, decrypt later threat.
That's like a ticking time bomb. Oh my gosh.
It is a bit like that. And Gartner predicts that by 2029, quantum computing could render a lot of our existing encryption obsolete.
Wow.
So PQC is essential for staying ahead of that curve
Okay.
and ensuring that our data is safe in the long term.
So future-proofing our digital lives.
Exactly.
Okay, that one's definitely going on my things that keep me up at night list.
We understand that.
But let's maybe move on to something a little less anxiety-inducing.
Sure.
What's this about ambient invisible intelligence?
Okay.
It sounds kind of spooky.
It's not as spooky as it sounds. Think of it this way. Your office, knows when you've arrived and it adjusts the lighting and temperature to your liking.
Okay.
Or as you walk through a store,
Right.
you get personalized recommendations based on where you are and your past purchases.
Okay.
That's ambient invisible intelligence in action.
Okay, that's actually pretty cool.
It is.
But how does it work?
So it's more about tiny, low-cost sensors
Okay.
and tags embedded in everyday objects and environments.
Uh-huh.
This information is sent to the cloud.
Right.
And AI analyzes it and makes decisions about how to, adjust the environment or provide you with these personalized experiences.
So smart homes, smart cities,
Exactly.
even smarter retail experiences.
Uh-huh. It's like having a personal assistant for your surroundings.
It's fascinating.
It is.
But it also kind of raises a lot of questions about privacy
Absolutely.
and data collection.
You're right.
Is anyone talking about, like, regulations for all of this?
Yeah, that's a really important point.
Okay.
As this technology becomes more prevalent,
Right.
we need to think about things like transparency, user control,
Yeah,
and making sure there are strong privacy regulations.
definitely.
It's not just about convenience. It's
Yeah.
about maintaining control over our data.
And our environments.
Ex-
Okay, I'm starting to see a pattern here.
Yeah,
Every time we take a technological leap, we need to be, like, extra careful
right.
about the consequences.
Absolutely.
But let's move on to a trend that I feel like is on everyone's mind these days.
Okay.
Energy consumption.
Yeah.
With all this tech getting smarter, more powerful,
Uh-huh.
isn't that going to create a massive energy problem?
It's a valid concern, and that's where energy-efficient computing comes in.
Energy efficient computing, okay.
It's about designing and operating computers and data centers and all our digital systems
Right.
in a way that minimizes energy use and our carbon footprint.
So it's kind of like the green revolution, but for tech.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but how much of a difference can this really make?
Right.
When we're talking about, like, AI,
Uh-huh.
which requires so much processing power.
It's a big challenge, but it's also a huge opportunity.
Oh.
If we embrace energy-efficient computing practices, we can develop and deploy powerful technologies while reducing our environmental impact.
So we're not just making tech more efficient.
No,
We're redesigning it from the ground up
exactly.
with sustainability in mind.
Yeah, it's about recognizing that technological progress and environmental responsibility aren't mutually exclusive.
Right.
We can innovate
Yeah.
while still being mindful of our planet.
Well said.
Thank you.
And speaking of innovation, with all these different computing technologies emerging, CPUs, GPUs, the cloud,
Right.
even quantum computing on the horizon,
Yeah,
it seems like things are getting pretty fragmented.
they are.
How do we make sense of it all?
Well, that's where hybrid computing comes in.
Hybrid computing, okay.
It's about recognizing that different computing technologies have different strengths and weaknesses.
Okay.
So instead of trying to find, a one-size-fits-all solution,
Right.
hybrid computing is about using the best tool for the job.
So it's like having a toolbox
Exactly.
full of different tools, and you choose the right tool
Yes.
for whatever you're trying to do.
Exactly. For example, a company might use cloud computing for data-intensive AI research, but keep sensitive customer data on their own secure servers.
Oh.
Or they might combine traditional CPUs
Yeah.
with specialized GPUs to speed up things like
Right.
image processing or machine learning.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's about flexibility,
It is.
customization, getting the most out of our computing resources.
And that flexibility is going to be increasingly important as we move forward
Right.
and see how these technologies evolve.
All right. We've covered a lot of ground here with AI
Yeah.
computing frontiers.
We have.
But before we move on to that,
Yes.
truly mind-bending
Oh, yeah.
realm of human-machine synergy.
I know. I'm excited for that one.
Let's take a quick breather and...
Actually, I think we're just getting warmed up.
Okay.
Human-machine synergy is where things get really interesting, and it's going to have a huge impact on, how we work, how we live,
Right.
even how we think in the coming years.
Okay, you've piqued my curiosity.
Good.
But before we go down that rabbit hole, let's take a quick break
Right.
so everyone can grab a drink, process all this information, and we'll be right back.
Sounds good. All right, ready to jump back into the future.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's talk about where humans and machines really start to blend
Oh, geez.
spatial computing.
Spatial computing, okay, lay it on me. What exactly is that?
So it might sound like something out of Star Trek,
A little bit, yeah.
but it's closer than you think.
Okay.
Imagine you're attending a virtual meeting,
Uh-huh.
but you can interact with 3D models
All
as if they were right there in the room with you.
Okay.
Or you're getting hands-on training, but in a super lifelike simulated environment.
Wow.
That's the power of spatial computing.
Okay.
It's taking augmented reality, virtual reality, and AI
Right.
and blending them together to create immersive digital experiences that are anchored to our physical world.
So it's not just about, like, putting on a VR headset
Okay.
and escaping into some virtual world.
No, it's much more than that. Okay.
It's about bridging the gap between digital and physical.
Interesting.
Imagine architects collaborating on a 3D building design, but like in real time.
Okay.
They could walk through the virtual structure
Uh-huh.
and make changes on the fly.
Wow.
Or think about surgeons practicing complex procedures,
Right?
but in a virtual operating room.
Oh, that's amazing.
So they can hone their skills in a risk-free environment.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
What about, like, everyday applications?
Sure.
How's spatial computing going to affect, like, the average person?
Well, think about things like trying on clothes virtually before you buy them online.
Okay.
Getting step-by-step instructions for assembling furniture, but it's projected right onto the pieces.
Oh, wow.
Or imagine attending a concert from your living room.
Uh-huh.
But it feels like you're actually there.
Okay.
That level of immersion.
So spatial computing could change.
It could.
Everything from shopping to entertainment.
Absolutely.
Even education.
And Gartner predicts that by 2028.
1 in 5 people will be using spatial computing every week.
1 in 5. That's a huge jump from where we are now.
It is.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about robots.
Okay.
Specifically, those multi-talented polyfunctional robots.
Oh, yeah. Those are fascinating.
They seem like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
They do, but they're becoming increasingly real.
Okay.
Polyfunctional robots are different from, the single-task automation we see today.
Right.
They can adapt to different tasks,
Yeah.
different environments, which makes them really versatile.
So we're not just talking about robots that can vacuum the floor.
No.
Or assemble a car part. They can do, like, both.
Exactly.
Okay.
Imagine a robot that could help out in a warehouse,
Yeah.
but then switch over to helping with patient care in a hospital.
Wow.
And then maybe even cook and clean in your home.
That's a lot of responsibility.
It is.
What are the real-world implications of this kind of tech?
While these robots could help us address labor shortages, improve efficiency and productivity in a ton of industries.
That makes sense.
They could even provide assistance to people with disabilities or the elderly.
Okay.
So think robots helping out in manufacturing,
Right.
logistics, healthcare, elder care.
It seems like they could have a huge impact.
Yeah.
But what about those concerns that robots are going to, take jobs away from people?
It's a valid concern, and it's something we need to be very mindful of.
Right.
But technology has always disrupted the job market.
That's true.
The key is to adapt, reskill, focus on areas where humans excel, like creativity.
Right.
You can look at these robots as tools that work with us, augment our capabilities,
Okay.
not replace us entirely.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
It's not humans versus robots.
Exactly.
It's humans and robots working together.
To create a better future.
Speaking of a better future,
Yes.
the next trend we have to talk about
Yeah.
may be the most mind-boggling of all.
It's pretty out there.
Neurological enhancement.
Yeah, now we're getting into the realm of sci-fi.
For sure.
It's fascinating, though.
Okay, what is neurological enhancement?
So it's all about using brain-machine interfaces to enhance our cognitive abilities.
So, like boosting our memory, improving our focus.
Yeah, accelerating learning, even helping people with disabilities regain lost function.
Hold on, are we talking about implanting chips in our brains?
It's not necessarily about implants, although those are being explored.
Right.
It's about finding ways to interact with the brain and enhance its natural capabilities.
So it's still really early days.
It is.
For this kind of technology.
Yeah.
But the potential is pretty incredible.
It really is.
But what about the ethical concerns?
Oh, you're absolutely right.
This is literally about altering the human brain.
Right. The ethical implications are huge.
Yeah.
We need to proceed carefully.
For sure.
To ensure this technology is used responsibly,
Right.
ethically, for the benefit of all humanity.
It brings up such big questions.
It does.
About what it means to be human.
Yeah, about inequality, about making sure this tech doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
This is definitely a lot to process.
It is.
It's amazing to think about all the possibilities.
Right.
But also, the potential risks are huge.
Absolutely.
It seems like the stakes just get higher with every technological leap.
That's true. And that's why it's so important to have these conversations.
Right.
To be aware of these trends.
Yeah.
To be actively involved in shaping how they're developed and used.
So knowledge is power, but with great power
comes great responsibility.
Exactly.
And that brings us to the end of our exploration
of
Gartner's top 10 strategic technology trends for 2025.
That was quite a journey.
It was. We covered a lot.
We did, from the rise of intelligent machines to the potential literally enhancing our brains.
Yeah.
Okay, but what does it all mean for us here and now?
Right.
How do we prepare for this future?
That's the question we'll be tackling in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay, so we've explored these 10 trends.
Yeah.
From AI that's making decisions to potentially enhancing our own brains.
Uh-huh.
It's a lot. It's pretty mind-blowing.
It is.
But it can also feel, I don't know, kind of overwhelming.
Right.
So let's maybe step back for a second and look at the bigger picture.
Okay.
What does all of this mean for us?
Right.
And how do we even start to, prepare for this future?
I think that's the key question, isn't it? And honestly, I think the first step is changing our mindset.
Okay.
We can't just kind of sit back and passively wait for the future to happen to us.
Right.
We need to be actively shaping it.
So instead of being swept away by, this tide of technological change,
Yeah.
we need to become the surfers, riding those waves and steering towards the future we want.
I love that analogy. That's great.
Okay, good.
Because, yeah, these trends come with opportunities, but they also come with potential downsides.
Perfect.
It's up to us to figure out how to best use them.
But how do we even begin to do that? Where do we even start?
I think it starts with awareness.
Okay.
We have to understand these trends,
Right.
their impact, and the choices that we're facing.
Yeah.
And then we need to have open and honest conversations about the kind of future we want to create.
So it's not just, understanding the technology itself.
No.
It's about understanding, the implications and having these tough conversations about ethics,
Yes.
values,
Yeah.
our vision for society.
Absolutely. We need to ask ourselves, what are the benefits of these technologies, but also what are the risks?
Right.
How can we minimize those risks,
Yeah.
but maximize the benefits?
Right.
What role do we want technology to play in our lives?
In our work and our relationships, yeah.
Exactly.
Those are big questions.
Yeah.
And it feels like they require more than just, technical expertise.
Oh, for sure.
We need, philosophers, ethicists, social scientists, policymakers.
Yeah.
It sounds like everyone needs to be part of this conversation.
I completely agree. Shaping the future of technology is not just a job for, engineers and scientists. It's a collective responsibility.
Yeah.
That needs all sorts of different perspectives and a willingness to just have these thoughtful discussions.
So what can our listeners do to, be a part of this?
Okay. Well,
Because sometimes it can feel daunting.
right.
My individual actions aren't going to make a difference.
I disagree. I think every voice matters.
Okay.
Here's a few things that you can do.
Okay.
First, just stay informed.
Right.
Keep learning about these trends and how they're changing.
Okay.
Second, talk to people, your friends, your family, your colleagues about what you're learning and the ethical implications.
Yeah.
And third, support organizations that are working to make sure technology is being used for good.
Okay. So it's about staying curious,
Yeah.
having those tough conversations,
Uh-huh.
and using our voices to advocate for the future we want.
Exactly. And don't underestimate the power of your choices as a consumer.
Oh,
Support companies that are developing technology responsibly and ethically.
okay.
Vote for policymakers who are prioritizing these issues.
Right.
Your choices make a difference.
So it's about being informed,
Yes.
engaged, and proactive.
Absolutely.
It's about understanding that the future isn't something that just, happens to us.
Right.
It's something that we create together.
I love that the future is not predetermined. It's like a blank canvas, and we
Yeah.
get to paint our vision onto it.
That's a great way to put
And let's use these advancements, these technologies, to build a future that's more equitable,
Yeah.
more sustainable, more fulfilling for everyone.
That's an inspiring vision and a great note to end on.
It is, yeah.
This deep dive into Gartner's top 10 strategic technology trends.
Yes,
It's been an incredible journey.
it has.
We've explored the cutting edge of innovation, grappled with some really complex ethical dilemmas,
Right.
and hopefully we've sparked some, thought-provoking conversations along the way.
I hope so, too.
It's been such a pleasure exploring these trends with you,
Likewise.
and I really hope our listeners are feeling both informed and inspired to kind of engage in this ongoing conversation about the future of technology.
Me too.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
Of course.
And remember, the future is not something to be feared.
Yeah.
It's something to be shaped.
Absolutely.
So go out there, stay curious, and help create the future you want to see.
Couldn't have said it better myself.